It's like teams want to win.
Yeah, it's like playing off of flash timers is really important fundamental League of Legends, and champions that can force that are
you learn something
really
new
strong.
every day.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day. Well, we'll see if Tian continues to get bans. No, it's going to be the Galio towards Xiaohu. They don't want to give that supportive facilitator, like you talked about, over to the man himself. We'll see what Weibo want to go for first pick. It's the Annie first pick.
Slam Annie. I mean, I think it's really telling for what Weibo is as a team. They have Talia up on the board, by the way. I mean, if I'm top esports, it's a bad match against Annie, but you could take it and take another facilitator away from Xiaohu. If you can find a pairing for it, that's always nice. But Creme, he's played a lot of the Orianna. Expect to see this into the Annie, and we'll see if they pair it with the Jarvan, which would instantly give you a game where you have a lot of pressure against flash timers.
Nocturne. Dang it. I want a Nocturne. All right, insta-lock of the J4. We have been seeing this rise in a lot of priority. Rumble, funnily enough, is still on the table.
Yeah, I don't want to pick Rumble if I'm Weibo right now. I think that your options is Weibo. Yeah, maybe for top. I think bot lane is what you're looking at. You could secure a jungle pairing, but you can also eat a couple bans as Tian, because with Annie, you can find a lot of fun pairings later on. I think Annie really opens up your jungle pool to carries, especially with Jarvan showing. I mean, you could realistically eat a Zed ban, eat a Xin Zhao ban, eat a lot of other bans that you could throw out the target at Tian. So I would drop jungle here. I would rather pick support or just lock down a top laner if you really feel like that's important. But with Kai'Sa showing, I think taking support's nice. So Nautilus, Rel, likely candidates here on the board. I think Rel interacts a lot better with this game, what's showing early on. Or Nico, which could also work for Chris too. So
yeah. I love the Nico here with the Kai'Sa combination as well. But it's also something that Top Esports ended up banning away last game as well towards Light himself. So giving him some carry potential here yet again. And the Rumble with the Hot Pot special ends up coming through.
And look, this is a Rumble too. Like, think about, I've talked a lot about the Rumble nerfs that came in. 20 damage off of a rank 5 Q. And 1% max HP off the overheat. That has a bigger impact on the tank matchups, right? We already saw Sion and Ornn be picks that you can play into Rumble. Now, I think Sion bad in the Rumble, Ornn better. Regardless, both playable. Look at the champions off the board. Sion and Ornn actually banned out by Weibo Gaming themselves. And now we have Ambessa taken away. That is Breathe's most played champion and a good pick against Rumble. And now, if you want to, you could take Gwen away too. I don't even think Gwen's a good champion right now for Weibo. Like, what are you going to play into this Rumble if you're Breathe? I think your pool's really narrow just in game 2.
We'll see. Maybe he goes with something a little bit spicy. We do see the Nocturne
I like the ban. I like the ban a lot,
Weibo,
actually.
Just in case.
No, I was going to give that one a shout out. It would allow you to get that attack Rumble in side lanes, get backline access to. Spell Shield really valuable against Orianna as well. So, yeah. And then we have a Xayah and a Rel ban now that Nico's locked in. So, look, I'm expecting Ezreal Karma to show up here for JackeyLove and Hong, and frankly, I think that's good. Like, it's
pretty good, yeah.
I would take Ezreal Karma in a heartbeat this game. That, or you could go for a Lucian lane, but just take the Karma.
I could see the Lucian lane, yeah.
Take the Karma.
I think you just save it, right? Oh, the Sivir instead. Okay.
I will say, Sivir, we have seen Kai'Sas be able to delete Sivers later on.
Yeah,
if you're able to get to the back line. So we'll see what kind of peel Hong's going to be able to take, or if it does end up being a Sivir Karma in this game, which I still expect to see a Karma. I really do. It's just kind of been the answer in a Nico.
All right, Tian, what you got? Let's see what he's willing to go with. Him and Breathe going to be the final picks for Weibo. The Aatrox does end up giving a little bit of comfort to Breathe.
In a game where you have to hit sweet spots, I know Aatrox can make life difficult for Sivir to auto-attack, but, like, I think your game sucks here as Aatrox. Like, the Jarvan-Orianna combo is coming down on, if you're able to get one shot from that, your goal is to make it hard for Sivir to auto-attack, but you know Karma's coming in. I guess they get a Serpent's Fang user, maybe, later on, but I really favor Top Esports composition here. I think the biggest challenge for Top Esports is that it really is a kind of a pseudo frontline with Jarvan. He's got to be really flexible with the Flag and Drags and the Cataclysms to make sure that he's not overextended or in too much trouble. Because there's not a lot of tankiness on him in the first place, and not around, like, on the champions around him either, if you look at Rumble and Karma. On the flip side for Weibo, I think they got to play really hard early. And they have the power to do that. You have Annie, you have Xin Zhao. Kai'Sa can try and find these dives and be flexible, but Annie's immobile. Xin Zhao gets terrain gated, and I'm seeing the move speed of a Sivir, the move speed of a Karma, and then the Orianna, Jarvan, Rumble, like that hot pot, that power of the Shockwave combo too. And I see a very difficult game if Weibo gets behind or their flashes are down. If they aren't able to use the power their champs get had early on and play with a lead, I think on even footing as this game moves on, definitely advantage going over to top esports on that red side.
I gotta say, it's leaning though into some of the advantages we saw from Weibo in that game. Like, if you think about it, the early game actually looked really good from Weibo, and now they're really opting into an early game style comp.
It did. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. Like, I still don't like it for Weibo. I really don't see, like, I think that their comp gets neutralized by so much of what top esports can do. Looking at Karma, looking at like Sivir, Orianna going late, just wave clear that they have. I don't think that Weibo as a team, like, they do not clear waves very well at all as a team. Aatrox, Annie, Kai'Sa, they are terrible at clearing waves. So they get behind it all, I think it's big trouble.
Light took the IG skin on Kai'Sa. Disrespect to a max as we get into game number 2 for Weibo versus top esports.
Disrespect, respect. It's just the best Kai'Sa skin too, Mazel.
Which one is it? It all depends on how he feels about it.
It's just the best skin.
That's actually so funny though. Like, what a Chad move, bro. But like you say, it could be out of respect. It could be disrespect. Who knows? I feel like as a player, you'd be feel very personalized to that skin. Maybe you don't want anybody else to touch it. But you also get proceeds from it. So, you know, here or there.
Well, not on Tournament Realm. Where
oh, yeah, true.
I think it's cool. Speaking of cool, I know new patch hitting tonight for League of Legends. T1 skins will be in the shop.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be promoting that on the LPL stream, but, you know. We promote esports
cool.
here.
They're the world champions. All right, they deserve it.
I was the one advocating that it was taken out of respect, not out of spite.
Yeah. We'll see if we end up getting some of those LCK. I feel like if you use those LCK skins, the world skins in the LPL, I feel like there might be some tough questions asked. But we'll see if we get any of them in the future once we get that patch here. But on the jungle side of things, we are going from top to bot. Both junglers taking the same clear sides. So we could see a bit of a rumble in the bot side. And I'm not talking about that top lane matchup.
I think bot lane pressure makes a lot of sense here from Weibo. That said, we'll see if Tian takes any pit stops mid. Annie versus Orianna. You got to use those stuns to threaten the Orianna early on in the game. If not, I mean, you get outscaled against the Orianna pretty bad. So
I'm surprised Tian is 3-7 on Xin Zhao.
I think it speaks to how bad Weibo's been.
Yeah.
Not Tian. Then again, Xin Zhao is a champion. There's only so much skill expression on Xin Zhao, Mazel, let's be honest.
Yeah, we'll see if he can express some of that skill here. Because I was really interested in how this Weibo comp comes together. And Tian needing to have a lot of impact. If you look, the 7-0 Jarvan for Kanavi. My goodness.
That's big. I think JackeyLove 6-3 Sivir. Again, this guy has been so damn good on Sivir since she's really made a pretty big appearance back into the meta that we have here with Fearless. Feels like a lot of teams are prepping for Sivir games, whether they want it for themselves or getting ready and willing to play against. JackeyLove, for me, has been hands down the best Sivir that we've had in the LPL. As we're going to see the pressure from the Karma lane continue. And again, a big concern that I have this game. Like we talk about, and this is part of why I really don't like the Weibo comp. Talk about some... Oh, we're going to talk about basically macro of JackeyLove.
That's cleanse and heal.
Caught a tangled barb.
Oh, Tian. Oh, no, Tian, he's just going to go for the kill. Going to go for JackeyLove. Gets the flash out. He gets the boomerang blade right back to him. It's going to be first blood for Weibo. They get the kill for Light, but now it's going to be traded back. The healing coming clutch. JackeyLove going down. Kanavi versus Light. The last two left, but a double kill for Light. The saving grace. And Kanavi can't connect the flag and drag. That'll be a 2-for-2 in the bot side and chaos early in game 2.
I think you'll take that as Weibo. It's gold where you want it with Light. I know that Kanavi got pretty big himself, 2-0. He can move that gold that he's going to have for himself around the map, try and use that to throw his weight around on the map. But I'll take a big Kai'Sa. Because you can really pressure delete that Sivir later on. If you're able to sync up your tools and get on top of the Sivir, that's definitely going to be the game plan here for Weibo, and why I think it's really important that they have an early lead. Just because, I mean, again, the wave clear is very grim. And that's part of why I get so concerned about Weibo, because as a comp, I think that they are really good if they're able to push out waves and then get control. I mean, think of Nico angles, think of Annie angles, think of that setting up a Kai'Sa. As right now we see the angle that Tian tried.
Shout out to Tian, because like if he doesn't go for that, I feel like it looks a lot worse.
I think there's a world where he might have been able to get on JackeyLove with the Q3, actually, with a flash of his own. So it could have been better for me. But I think going in was the right call, which I know is what you're kind of hinting at there, Mazel.
Yeah.
I think he could have went further in. Found the idiot, because JackeyLove, for me, doesn't have Spell Shield up until he uses it in the fight. And I think if you're able to get the Q3 and maybe the combo there, you would get all your damage into one target instead of being split.
Yeah. I do like this from Kanavi, kind of hovering with his lead over where the lead ended up being for Weibo, just trying to see if he can up in that a bit on the light. One thing I know is that Kai'Sa hates to see Jarvan coming. And we'll see if Kanavi can find his promised land with that. Now I'm looking at Tian, though, trying to get some influence back onto this map. There is the dragon up, had just spawned about 30 seconds ago. We know these teams don't necessarily like to early focus those dragons so far in this series, but then the grubs are up in about 2 minutes as well.
So, returning to kind of this wave clear point I'm trying to set up here, Mazel. Like, a lot of, I mean, Sivir's power as a champion. We always talk about late game Sivir, or like base defense Sivir, right? Balloons tower defense Sivir.
Yeah.
Obviously, the wave clear, like, for me, it's a big part of getting Sivir to the late game. Just the fact that, like, she can delete these waves. She wants to play the waves, not the fights themselves, because she can be so dominant over these waves and deleting them, as we see JackeyLove as a cannon, that we, like, she can get the items and then kind of play PvE until she's ready to PvP. And that's my concern with Weibo, is that I feel like in order for them to PvP this game, they need angles. Like, whether it's Annie approaching from Fog, Aatrox on an angle, trying to set up, like, these Wombos, too. It's harder to get those when the enemy team has so much wave clear and priority, and are going to be able to, you know, have times where your wave, like, you have to respond to a wave that's crashing into you. That means that the enemy team's in fog and you're on vision of the wave. I think that Weibo would be a lot happier with that inverse, right? They don't have access to pretty much any wave clear in this comp. I think later game, if they want to delete a wave, it's got to come from Tibbers, which is not ideal. So,
speaking of Tibbers,
that's part of why I get so concerned for Weibo in this one, because I don't know how many windows or opportunities they're going to get early on to play fast, because the waves will just not be theirs. And then when it gets late, it's just grim.
We'll see if they get a chance. As Crisp, he's going to find out that they are trying to steam up top lane. His flash still available for light. He's playing very respectfully with it. Kanavi was trying to make yet another attempt at top lane. Won't end up finding anything up there, and the farming will continue. About 20 seconds for those grubs.
For example, like, one of the perks that the wave clear Sivir Karma got is that JackeyLove was behind in this lane. Well, he got a base in, and he's back, and he's pretty much even or ahead on items versus light now. So these are the small things where I think you can just find windows, kind of get back into the game. Wave clear is really important. I think forcing flashes, again, really important in these big games. Top esports have a lot of good tools to use to do that.
Oh, that ward. Yeesh. Didn't actually end up seeing Kanavi. They actually don't know that he's up here. He could be looking for the dive. Crisp is going to walk around the corner, get the bad news. Cataclysm slam dunk from Kanavi. The guy's on a rampage.
It's not stopping either. He's stuck around. Light's dead too.
Oh, the flash comes out. Light should be able to survive for a little bit longer, but not long enough. JackeyLove will take the extra shot, so he will probably have to back off, but that's top esports taking whole house sale on top side.
Kanavi even tried to style too. He tried to go for the EQ flash and guess the flash of light. I'm not going to warrant that one. Don't try that one at home. Definitely wasn't worth it for Kanavi. Would have been a hell of a fancy play if he did hit it. If you flash in the EQ with Jarvan, you do lose out on that Q damage. That's where a lot of your kit comes from. So if you're at home, the EQ flash, it's a cool mechanic, but avoid it if you can. Q damage is the most important. As a really nice shockwave from Creme and a better sidestep. On the barbs, make sure that he gets out of that one A-okay. Good use of shockwave, pulling Annie backwards away from the Orianna. As Creme continues to stabilize that wave, he's sitting on a catalyst, going to be the rower for himself. Feeding into the scaling he's going to be doing this game on the Orianna.
Maybe that's just the kind of what was on the blackboard at the front of the room for Creme today. It's just the scalar of the comp so far in both games. And going to be feeling pretty good there. But, okay, Light might get caught out here. This is a little bit troublesome for Light. He's going to get rooted down. Yeah, don't take his skin against him, or he's going to be a little angry. Takes him down about a little bit lower than half health, and that will be the push coming through from top esports. Now on the bot side, this might tee up the dragon for them. But can we talk about Kanavi, man? The elephant in the room at this point. 3-0 on the Jarvan, but it has been a masterclass from him so far today across both games.
I don't know, man. He still kind of got baptized early on by Tian in game 1. This game has been very, very clean from him. But I still really feel like Kanavi's benefiting out of his laners just being stronger at the moment. He has made some good shows. He got the double kill, right? Like, they won the 3v3. That 3v3 was already winning because the Sivir and the Karma were winning out. He's been the big benefactor out of this early on, Mazel, but... yeah, I mean, look at these waves. Like, it's just as Annie and Kai'Sa being consistently jailed. And yeah, that dragon timer that you called out as you were looking out for. Looks like that's the wave. Oh. That top esports going to like to take it. 369.
That was a little close. And he's going to have a welcome party come towards him. He's going to try to get the back off, but there's no way he gets it off in time. He's going to try to get out of this one. Tibbers comes down, and the bodyguards of Weibo collapse onto 369.
Didn't cheat the wave, so going to be Rumble for the Dragon. I think top esports going to be happy with that one, but Weibo going to do their best with the grubs to try and get first brick. Going to be very important for the Feats race, as if top esports secures first brick for themselves, it will be Feats secured. So, going to wrap up this play as Weibo. I think their map response overall was okay, but it still was a Mountain Drake over to top esports, and they are the scaling Sivir comp to now have a dragon that flies themselves 5 minutes later on if things get grim. So I very much favor where top ends still, but good play from
Oh, Xiaohu. Okay, he should be fine. Kanavi really wants him. He is down 2 levels. Xiaohu. Kanavi's ruthless, man. He just walks at him here as they were getting clapped from Hung as well.
This is what we call tempo gaming, Mazel. Because again, Xiaohu has no TP, so
he can't leave.
Yeah, he's jailed now, and Sivir Karma are just going to continue to delete waves. If Annie gets jailed like this, look at the items. It is a completed Essence Reaver on JackeyLove versus a component in the Revolver for Xiaohu. So yeah, he's going to be forced to base, but if so, he's basing on a crappy wave. His base got canceled again. Like, this is just damn good league being played by top esports. As when you're a scaling team, guys, it doesn't mean that you have to wait to see if an enemy makes mistakes. Just means you have to be smart about the plays you make. Plays you make, like stopping tempo like this, could be really valuable. Look at this window that you just bought for your Sivir. I know it's a good game state already for JackeyLove. Like, because they canceled Xiaohu's base like 50 gazillion times, they just got Sivir 2 plates and like free time. He's up a level against Light. He's up items against Light. JackeyLove, who started the game behind, is a very happy camper.
Yeah, and on top of all that, we touched on at the very beginning the fact that this is a Weibo comp that wants to be proactive. They want to be fighting advantages. They want to be in the lead, and they are not that right now, as we see plates coming across the board.
Like they took 0 wave clear across their composition, and that's part of why. I mean, I was kind of concerned about the Rumble answers, because I think where Rumble was picked in this game was so good. Like, think of the most common picks, the most common matchups we see in the Rumble. I feel like the first 4 or 5 picks in response were all off the board in Aurora, Cassante, Sion, and Lauren. And then Ambessa.
Oh, wait, like Kanavi just like snuck through the enemy lines here. Now Crisp is on the wrong side of the fight. He's going to get the Pop Blossom out. That's going to be double TPs coming in. Top Esports going to try to respond to Breathe TPing up. That will be both top laners joining the tussle. Tian, he's still looking, but Kanavi knows he was waiting for it, and he goes forward. Cataclysm on it too, and Kanavi is just dancing on him here. He throws him the Q and ends up finding the kill in the end. Tian's got a flash and die still to the boomerang, and the combo from Creme. Breed's gonna hit the Q sweet spots. He does end up taking down Kanavi. That's a big shutdown going over. Now top esports trying to reposition on this fight. Light going away with the killer instinct. Look at Breed. Breed trying to heal so much. Breed is doing work, and Light is untouched through all of this. Light is making a monster out of himself as he gets gunned down by 369. Unfortunately, nobody can escape the flames of the Flame Spitter.
Well, top esports, they end up winning out of the fight. It was haywire in the back half thanks to some good play from Light and Breathe. But the fight at the start was too good from Top Esports because Kanavi and 369, they split it up. The TP from 369, look at where he's at in this fight. Oh, okay, it's too late. They completely split the fight, given where 369 TP'd. He TP'd at the ward on the wall. It split Xiaohu and Tian away from the rest of Weibo, and Kanavi is able to pick one side of fight with the Cataclysm. It's no flash available on the Annie. Tian doesn't get any help from his teammates because they're too far away because Top Esports split the fight early on, and it requires heroics from Light and Breathe just to make this a pretty much a soft landing loss. But the fight setup from Top Esports was so damn good early on that they were able to just easily pick one side of it and sign up for a very winning fight.
369 was having a field day, bro. He was having a great time as the top laners finally finding big impact into the fights. I know we were a little bit questioning the Q sweet spots from Breathe, and now we're questioning Creme's life on the bot side of the map. He will get the redemption coming through, and the rest of his team's coming. They're also going to take the turret that feats to Top Esports as Weibo.
The map's
we're trying to collapse.
Weibo's map is on fire. Again, there is too much wave clear.
Oh, Tian! Pop Blossom coming back as a counter onto Kanavi. It is going to be rebuffed, and Kanavi goes down. Overextended as he thought they had Tian dead to rights.
They can still play the wave, though. Like, Creme is just still trying his best to delete these waves. The team's rotating over.
It's too little, too late. Weibo have dove the world ender as he will fall in the end. It still matters that Weibo find promise.
I don't get why Top Esports play defense there. Like, even that ult that they found where the first shockwave, I don't understand why Creme just didn't use that on the wave and why Top Esports just didn't sign up to playing 2 waves versus the 1 of Weibo. Like, if you play that for, what, 3 waves, like the sequence that we just saw, you could have found a decently winning scenario instead. Kind of a losing scenario where Weibo, they were able to get a turret, they were able to get that second dragon and got some gold over because Top Esports played into the side of the map that wasn't theirs, right? They were already losing bot. They tried to play to rescue Creme instead of playing to max out their win in the other 2 lanes.
A little bit of question marks do end up bringing Weibo back into the fold here. Rift Herald is available, and Top Esports are redeploying up to this side of the map.
And look, if I'm top after that one, like, Kanavi's still ahead. He doesn't have Cleaver yet. I might wait till I get 2 items. Because you're still, like, you're at the point as Top Esports where you're ahead, but you're not 2 items, like, you aren't at 2 items before your opponent is at 2 items ahead yet. They still have majority components to try and get to the 2 item mark, so I know this Rift Herald's tantalizing, but I think this could be a decent fight for Weibo if they can find it early enough to sign up for it.
They need to call the bluff. They need to get in there because it's now getting very low. Tian versus Kanavi, but it's Kanavi that gets it in the end. Tian doesn't even get into range, and Rift Herald with a later play on the line for Top Esports.
I thought that could have been an opportunity. Just, again, looking at items, I think that things get worse as time goes on. Like, Black Cleaver is going to be in for the next base of Kanavi. That's a bigger advantage for sure.
Oh, Hung. He stepped right up to that one. They don't have a turret. Equalizer is going to be used from distance. Trying to set the hot pot. He was getting the flames ready, but Kanavi didn't put the pot down. And that'll be Top Esports trying to move on to the play on top side, then TP Creme to the mid lane to clear that one out.
I mean, look, that TP is still going to be up for the Dragon. It won't be up for the Otacon, which is worth noting, but still, Top Esports going to be able to play and catch the majority of their waves. It is kind of nice for Breathe. This is a great timer in the game for Breathe to set up a freeze here, folks. If you're at home, look at the objective timers. Nothing up for the next couple minutes. Look at the camps. Nothing up on that side of the map for Weibo. Breathe should have held that freeze. He could have kept that going and could have forced Top Esports to play 2 lanes. That was the right time for Breathe to hold that freeze. Also the right time for Creme to hold it on his side. But looks like it's going to be the handshake.
And you know where you could learn some of that from? You could learn that from ProDiff. If you go to prodiff.gg, you can get one-on-one coaching from pros in the LTA, in the NACL, and the ERLs. As prodiff.gg. Go get your coaching today. Use LPL 10 to save 10% on your coaching sessions.
Yeah, ask him about waves. Tell him Cubby sent you. Ask him what Cubby said about their careers. They're from NACL, you know? Maybe we can work a couple things. I think my favorite quote was from Diamond, which is Cubby's right about 85% of the time, and then 15% of the time he makes me really angry, and he's really wrong.
Nice.
I'd
agree with that.
That was an honest one, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have as much info as the pros, you know? I could only get early season GM. Don't play scrims. A lot of scrim data that we miss out on. Hey, that scrim data led to a first pick Kiana. Who knows? But
true.
What we do know, Rift-Herald crashing in that bot outer turret. 2K gold lead going over to top esports. They secure that outer turret. The last outer turret they had to knock down for themselves.
Yeah, that's standing gold. Now 2,000 gold up. About 30 seconds for the Atacon, which will be on the top side of the map. Then we have Dragon in a minute and a half. Both teams have gotten one Dragon apiece already, so no team really threatening that soul point just yet. But we are an Infernal Soul, and I think that does up the priority of that Dragon stacking.
Yeah, a lot of damage in this game, frankly, given that we have two Enchantress, or I guess a Mage support and then Enchantress support, right? So, be a big one. I mean, another point towards the scaling of top esports, by the way, the fact they're going to have access to Redemption. Whereas, we'll see if Nico's able to fit one in. Redemption, again, is just such a fight-changing item that we've seen.
They have Gwynsu's Kaisa. I mean, they could threaten the Atacon, and I was wondering if they were willing to start this one up.
Again, they don't need to.
They feel like they need tempo. They feel like they need pressure.
But, you're signing up to take objective resists, and now you're just gonna get tickled by top esports. But here comes Chris.
Oh, JackeyLove's gonna have to flash out of this pit if he wants to get out. I don't know how top esports put themselves there, but unfortunately they will both have to flash. I'm so confused.
that was
on
not
the
good.
Screen right now from both sides.
In spite of that, though, I mean, the positive for top esports is that while Hong and JackeyLove put themselves in the pit for whatever reason, Weibo still started the Otacon and lost half their health.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Both sides are like, wait, what?
At least we TP back, but Tian's going to be stuck at half, and lights down. 369 is snuck in.
Xiaohu goes for the play on a Creme. The flash comes out, though, and that's a nice return. Equalizer coming in. Atacon. It's going to go the way of Kanavi yet again. It is just purely a jungle diff this game, as we see Weibo try to pull off the inevitable fight here, as it is right now just a 1-for-1. Breathe is trying to be this front line for Weibo as they make their escape, and they should be successful.
All right. That was a sequence. I will say top esports didn't get a ton of flowers off that. Something that LS has been really consistent in talking about is the flowers you get for Otacon and how teams have been signing up. I mean, Otacon, I still think is one of the most OP objectives in the game if you get a lot of flowers out of it. And the resistance shred does make it a really diabolical fight. I'm with you, Mazel. Weibo need to continue to find ways to make this game more volatile, but I don't think that the sequence ends up being very worth it for them, as both teams kind of sign up to drop a lot of waves to fight this one. And I want to see teams be more disciplined about finding ways to give Otacon. Like, I'm pretty sure that only 12 flowers went over to the side of top esports. Is there at 22 total? That's not worth dropping multiple waves over Otacon for. I think that's something where LS and some of the analysts that as we evolve how we talk about Otacon are definitely getting things right. So just highlighting that. Not a ton to talk about in the flip. More the idea of it. There's not a lot to talk about here. Is Breathe, is down teleport, down flash, and about to be down a life.
He's going to try to go for Hung. Does a decent amount of damage with that Cyclo sword, and he wants the kill. Doesn't find it. Breathe will be taken down slowly but surely by 369 of all people.
Shutdown secured for 369's Rumble too. We traded out for a turret as Xiaohu gets a pick up there.
Did you see that damage though? That's insane.
The Cyclo sword
goes
big.
Nuts.
It was big. We'll see. I think he's gonna go. We'll see what he goes for next. He still doesn't have a Sundered Sky on this build, but I gotta say, like, Sundered Sky is not exactly useful this game, given the only melee you can really consistently hit on that team is Jarvan. He's got Flag and Drags all the time, so I kind of dig the build out of Breathe. I feel like it's appropriate given the game, even if we don't see it a lot. Kanavi's sending it.
Yeah, Kanavi is sending it. He's going to get the Killer Instinct out of Light to make it out of that pit with the Cataclysm. Tian now going to get ran down, going to pop the Crescent Guard, going to try to get out of this one. He's trying to heal up as much as he can from the Sundered Sky, but Creme will have his number. Go 3 kills now on the Orianna, and he is again having another game where he is slowly but surely scaling up to be a powerhouse.
Tian was going for the Blast Cone there, was denied by Creme in the rotation, so if you thought Xin looked goofy, it was because he was trying to go for the Blast Cone, was denied, so Tian, easy death, and top esports.
Get a tier 2?
I will say, Mazel, this is the second game in a row where Otacon has spawned. I know that contest from Weibo was, I think, close and justified, but even afterwards, I think the top esports comp has definitely come online, but we haven't seen Weibo exactly make great decisions after post Otacon on how they recover on the map there. Definitely overextended in that top side. Good punish from Kanavi, who it looked like at first he kind of sent himself in there a little early, but hey, he removed 3/4 of Light's health on his own and walked out of there. So I feel like very justified on Kanavi's part to find that small skirmish. And again, give Top Esports wins on the map. That's a mid-inner turret now taken down.
And I know it's something small we talked about, but you got to keep it in your mind that, Weibo did tweet, haven't lost the series against Top Esports. And now with the way that Top Esports' comp works here, it might just be backs against the wall in this series. We haven't seen those glimpses that we were seeing in that series against AL for Weibo so far today. There was that at the very beginning of game number 1, that early game that looked so dominant. But since then, they have not seemed like themselves. We'll see if Light can get to this third item and really start gunning them down. But does that third item make a difference here, Cubby?
I don't know if it's going to be enough. Again, like Top Esports, they're the ones that have the scaling advantage. They're the ones with the 3K gold lead. They're the ones that are about to have the Enchantress support online. And it really makes the one-shots, like the shotgun composition, right? We have a burst Nico, a burst Annie, Kai'Sa wants to dive into the back line. We have a Aatrox that's building lethality. If the early fight doesn't go well for Weibo, the later fight's not going to go well for Weibo. So yeah. I think early on, definitely have to keep our eyes to see if Weibo can find that big splashy engage.
And I know I've been highlighting him a lot, and I think we're going to continue to do so if he keeps having a series like this. But Kanavi deserves so much praise for this. I mean, he's 100% KP on the Jarvan right now. Not only setting up for a lot of the team, but he is like kind of that go button for this game itself, but he's also been the go button for Top Esports. I'm not gonna lie, I had doubts. I was like, what is Kanavi going to look like off of JDG? And it turns out he is just bloodthirsty. He seems out for vengeance, and while that hasn't led to the most successful year for them in the postseasons, he looks like he's ready to roll this time around.
Look, for me, I mean, Kanavi has always been a performer on Top Esports. I think I'm happier about what we've seen out of Creme so far this series. I know that...
The quiet but strong, the stoic.
I've said a lot about Top. I think this is a team that only gets as far as Creme takes them. I think Creme's the weakest link on this team. And when they've gone international... No, not Hong. It's Creme.
Okay,
I think when they've gone international, it's looked that way. I think Creme's champion pool is limited. And early on, I think they've put Creme on champions he's very capable on. I think Creme has been very solid, very consistent, very stable so far. And that makes me a happy camper, because I think that, again, for Top Esports, that they really want to be that international global contender that we expect our top seeds out of LPL to be.
Oh, they got a catch!
Step up to compete against the best mids in the world as Weibo Light steps up, takes down Hong over the wall. And could we see a Baron threat here?
That's the power of this comp. They have such heavy pick potential if you are caught out. He was on vision and is down. The Baron already started, already getting down to half health. Chris going for the Pop Blossom, finds 2 of them, and now Tian follows through. Creme gets out with the flash. Cataclysm coming in from Kanavi. Creme still surviving, going forward. He's still alive. Come for the king, you better not miss as they find more. And now the Atacon is coming alive for Top Esports. It starts to pop, and Weibo start to drop. You got the Killer Instinct not available from Light to follow through with that one with the Void Seeker, but it is a bloody fight.
Still a good play for Weibo. I think both teams have to reset. We'll see if we set our sights on the Baron or the Dragon. But for Weibo, that's the kind of condition they need to create, right, Lennon? It's a pick into just threat. Start the objective, get the damage going, just threaten all the angles that you can have. As Xiaohu, that Annie springs out of fog with a flash stun over the wall. Good setup here for Weibo to get something going. And then this fight, I mean, Creme is starting to poke his way around, and with Kanavi not there yet, they didn't have access to that Demacian standard, the flag, to try and find vision in the brushes. So Creme kind of walks up, gets caught off of a nice barb from Chris. And that set up what was a pretty decent fight here. I think JackeyLove burned his flash in to wrap up the Nico. I think that was a little bit early. They did a little bit early. The soul point was secured by Top, but that's going to be traded out for Weibo taking the Baron.
Special shout out to Light, man. I called it from the draft. This guy has to step up. He is known to be that team fighter. He is who got Weibo over the hump just last year in their run to Worlds, and now he's on the Kai'Sa. JackeyLove's IG Kai'Sa, and he is 6-2, almost 4 items in now.
Okay, this was an interesting choice from Top Esports, guys. Without getting like too much into the league science for this, I actually like this call from Top. They have Infernal Soul Point. They drop Baron for it. Now you might be like, Cubby, Baron is the better objective than Dragon. Yes, folks, that is very true. I'm not going to disagree with you there. But you know what we've been talking about for a good chunk of this game? That top esports comp does very well.
Scaling.
No. Something more specific than that. What helps with scaling? What does Baron empower, Mazel?
Wave clear.
Wave clear. There we go. All right, try two. We got there. The wave clear. All right, how much can we actually threaten with this Baron? And if this Baron doesn't pick up actual gold for Weibo, guess what? Your top esports, you get to threaten Soul for the rest of the game, right? That's a really powerful string that you get to pull on if you're top. And so far with Weibo, we're halfway through the Baron. They've picked up nothing.
Yeah, and I don't think they will. I mean, they have like a small advantage from the Baron lead, but they can't really push the waves.
I am very down with what top esports did. Baron was 300 times 5. It's worth 1,500 gold. That Baron power play has only gotten Weibo 300 gold. I'd take a Dragon for that every day of the week. I really would. For 2K gold, with this state of the game, this game state between these two teams, I would rather be top esports, have the Dragon, drop that Baron, and not lose anything. I think this is really nice from what Top's been able to do.
Also, still just having this outer turret at almost full health. They just have a defensive bastion to hold themselves here in these wave clears. And look at that. Not even damage done to JackeyLove. An entire Baron wave gone.
So look, overall, Baron, 2K gold for Weibo. No objectives taken. I think if you're top esports, that's A-okay. You have Dragon Soul now. Get to threaten that for the rest of the game. You bought 5 more minutes for your carries to scale. You can drop that, threaten Baron now whenever you want for the rest of the game. Baron damage will be very real. But have those carries picked up in the stead. Well,
they just can't even, man.
Void Staff, QSS for JackeyLove, who already has 3 items, so the core items are done. I think JackeyLove still has to be wary about a Kai'Sa being sent into the backline to shut him down. But overall, look, I don't think I have to be too pseudo-sciencey to say that I feel like that Dragon for Baron trade was actually pretty worth it. A good decision from top esports.
I gotta say, though,
they couldn't even touch the mid-outer turret. There's just too much
literally not even touch it. It's still full health almost at 32 minutes into the game. Like, that is unheard of. I will say, saving grace. A little bit of breathing room, if you will, and not just breathe. 4th item for Light. He now has the Maul Malmortes. He has that extra little bit of tankiness on some of the AP that's going to be coming through. You also have the GA for Tian to just throw his body in there for this Dragon that's up in about 1 minute and 30.
Yeah, Maul. I'm going to say a bit of an interesting pickup here for Light, but that shield could be really big against Rumble. You're going to get your Kai'Sa, probably going to interact within Rumble's range. But it doesn't help you against the Sivir. And that's my concern, because Sivir at this point, JackeyLove with the Scimitar, by the way, gets access to Vamp, too. A little bit of lifesteal in there for the Sivir. That's going to be quite nice. He's a big one. And I think that Light's job with the team, it has to be to delete JackeyLove, who now has access to Spell Shield, Cleanse, Scimitar, and that Flash that he just got back. So 50 seconds away from Dragon, which is now a soul for top esports. Dropping that Baron, by the way, and having those timers synced up. Baron spawns a minute later. Look at that. Minute 10 seconds later now on the Baron. They have plenty of time just to focus, use their wave clear, set up this Dragon. They already set up the scaling aspect because they've been doing well all game. And it's even on the scoreboard, but top esports still feels very ahead in this game and have been for the majority of it.
30 seconds in, and there is no vision to speak of for Weibo. They're going to double TP. They say this is the time. We need to get advantage before this even comes down. Xiaohu wants to find the play, but can't do it.
Oh, no.
He's going to go for the vision play, and that it will be Weibo with double TPs burned, finding a little bit of an entrance through this bottom side.
I mean, they're stuck. Like, they have to play through the bot side now. You can see Breathe. Might have an angle on Creme, though.
Oh, he tried to get up the flash play. Here comes the big play from Crisp, and he's down. Tian's going to go down to his GA, forfeit as 5-man strong. Just bash him into the dirt. That's sold to top esports, and top esports are just the better team today.
I think top Creme, that was a good angle from Weibo to try onto Creme. It was going to be a really tough game to win.
369, bro. Oh, he just baited. Oh, no, Breathe. You fell for the ultimate bait, and Xiaohu might have just fallen for it too, game. As they're just flashing over, and that is going to be it. Top esports have called game and potentially pushing Weibo to the brink for the first time between the organizations. And not only that, Top Esports haven't won a game on red side in the playoffs, so maybe adding that to their cap as well as they try to run down Xiaohu.
I really liked the draft that I saw from Top Esports in this game, and I really feel like they took advantage of a lot of the differing strengths that both these comps had. Again, Top Esports, we talked about it a lot early on. Scaling and wave clear advantage. The way they used that, just dropping the Baron for that third dragon, I thought that was really smart. I mean, we were talking about dropping Otacons to secure dragons and threaten soul points. That's when we were dropping the, more aggressive objective of the Baron. I think that it's undeniable that was a good choice from Top. Just it's given how they were able to play it out and also just some of the theory behind it with the champs. I think that was really, really sound. So when you, compare just the hands this team has with some of the brain power as well, that's what can make Top a really scary team come out of the LPL. When we do get games where they are on point making these decisions that we like, you pair that with the play, the angles these players can create, it's a pretty tough win. So Weibo going to be behind the 8 ball, going to need a reverse sweep likely in this one.
And the thing is this is 2 games in a row that Top Esports have said, we're just the better team. We're going to get a little bit of early game, but we're going to rely on our late game scaling to win us because we think we're the better team in those situations. And so far, they come up right 2 times in a row. I mean, obviously still have to finish this one out, but so far, so good with the scaling front of Top Esports. And the man, the myth, the legend in the jungle, still 100% KP, 36 minutes into the game on the Jarvan. We were wondering where this jungle pick was really going to be unfolded to, how he was going to be able to work with this Jarvan that has been rising in prio for the LPL. It's looking so damn good.
The ability to play with flash timers and a lot of the junglers being nerfed around him. Definitely have made jungle or Jarvan a big pick. I think also just the fact he can play it in the Trundle. If you haven't seen Trundle show his face yet in the series, gonna see if Trundle shows up next game as Breathe. Wow, okay. Kanavi made that insane angle look too easy as that Aatrox just melted.
Oh, but he's just running out. He still has his GA, by the way. And the shockwave coming through as well, potentially forward here as Chris goes in with a big pop blossom, but it's all for show. And the show is no longer there. It has been closed down. The tickets are no longer being sold, and Top Esports have bought the whole block. They're putting on the show, and boy, is it a beautiful one indeed. As Light trying to make one last dash effort, one last gasp of life here for him, but he will go down. The final turret goes as well. There's that shockwave we were waiting for, and Top Esports pushed Weibo Gaming to match point and looking at a date with Destiny and BLG in the upper finals.
Yeah, look, that was really impressive from Top. I really liked that decision, again, to drop the Baron for the third dragon. I thought, that is a game where I think you can do that. Top Esports did it, and we saw why they could. The wave clear between Sivir Ori, too much. It got them in good position for the dragon, bought them more time. Talked a lot about the scaling they had in their composition. Top was patient in how they waited for that to come online. The only person that was not patient was Kanavi, who made sure that he was making all the plays happen for his lanes to make sure they got ahead, they were in a good state, and they were set up for success to scale into that later game where you could see how one-sided the comps were once we got past the 30-minute mark. With just how much stronger, easier to execute Top Esports comp was.
If he doesn't get MVP, I'm going to riot. I'm pretty sure he still had 100% KP in the end, which is, in this day and age of LPL is nuts. That doesn't happen very often.
With all the chaos we have, Mazel, 100%. Yeah. One might even argue rigged,
Yeah, true. You're not allowed to get the 100%.
But Mazel, as we dive into the series, I think that I see 2 trends early on. One, post-Otacon for Weibo, bad. We've seen them very poorly recover onto the map, made some poor decisions with that. 2, I know we've talked a lot about jungle. I think Kanavi, Pog, 100% agree. Great game from Kanavi. The caveat that I had of this jungle matchup is I think what changes it is which support would show up and play better on the day. I think Hong has been so much better than Crisp in these first 2 games. Outside of that big glacial fissure that Crisp hit to turn that one dragon fight, he's been pretty invisible. He was picked. That started the 3-minute, we're down men fight that Weibo had that threw them out of the last game. And then those Nico engages were just not big enough. They were not succinct with the team in this game from Chris to really set up those big wombos that we know that Weibo's comp could pack, what they needed in order to threaten to potentially win that game. Instead, it was Hong and the value of the karma. I thought that he had a really nice game, actually. Redemptions were on point. His positioning was just solid. He didn't need to do anything special, but he laned very well and then brought that lead in the karma into the fights where he was big.
And that's been one of the biggest question marks for Weibo all along this journey is, you know, obviously the re-addition of Crisp to the roster, but why Light and Crisp haven't found success together, right? Two guys who individually have found so much success. I mean, one of them is a damn world champion. But the combination needs to come together. I think some of that cohesion has been lacking, and that's where you see moments like this where Weibo are relying on that combination, right? You're relying so heavily on the Nico to find these counter engages or find the engages nonetheless, and you need the Kaisa to be winning these team fights for you, finding those angles, and that just wasn't possible with the way that they were approached in these fights. So it is a Weibo who are reeling right now, and it's definitely not as close as that series against AL that was just the other day. But it's something where they have to try to reverse sweep now from a huge deficit against a team that is steamrolling right now.
That's a lot of Jarvan damage.
That's a lot of Jarvan damage.
Yeah, that is. When you're out damaging your mid and the enemy mid, who's an Annie, means you had a pretty one-sided game. So, yeah. Look, I think
the entire enemy team too.
I think that if you're Weibo, like I felt like game 1 draft was actually like playable to winnable, and they didn't execute well enough. This one, I didn't like their draft. We were pretty honest about that one early on, and they didn't execute this one off. I think Xiaohu did have a very nice Annie game. He was pretty invisible on the Aurora in game 1. I thought that he actually had a good game, did his job, you know, just couldn't win that game. And for game 3, I think, again, the difference between Xiaohu in game 1 and 2, I think facilitator versus non-facilitator was better in game 2. I think he needs to stick with that in game 3. Is it a Talia opener? They've been giving Talia, I think a lot of the champions that you can answer Talia with are off the table now. I think that you have to take Talia away from Xiaohu. And if they do want to leave that champ open, what else is Top Esports going to leave open? Because they did ban Annie in game 1, then they left it open, right? I think that they're, in Fearless, you have to give away some OPs to get some other OPs. So I'm just kind of curious what opener Weibo wants to sign up for, as we're expecting them to take the blue side.
Yeah, and I do wonder if we continue to get Top Esports banning away Tian's entire pool here and try to keep him on the back foot, because I know we talked a lot about the impact for support and how lackluster bot lane has been for Weibo, but if Tian can't stand toe-to-toe against Kanavi, and a lot of that comes with the caveat of how the lanes are doing, I know, but what we came into this matchup expecting is two mechanical junglers to be playing tug-of-war consistently in these matchups, and right now Kanavi just looks like his biceps are made out of steel, and he is pulling that rope one way, as Tian did have that good early game in game number 1, but was also very lackluster in this game on the Zin's out.
Yeah, I thought game 1, Tian got the best of Kanavi. This game, not the case, as that Jarvan showed early that double kill that he had, even with Tian getting 2 kills for Light. And that's one where we saw Kanavi's game speed up. He did a lot with that, being able to move his gold around, whereas Light was the one that was played into. Tian wasn't able to play enough defense, and yeah, just not as good of a game for him. So I still think Tian's been fine in these 2 games. I think the biggest difference has been Hong versus Crisp, and then Creme versus Xiaohu in that game 1. And then honestly, just the decision making from Weibo as a team. Like that sequence in game 1 was terrible. Just fighting down numbers after Otacon for a few minutes, and this game, I think the draft is really bad. I would not give away Rumble on 3. I thought this is a game you just have to take any Rumble and live with it. Galio was off the table. I think giving away the Rumble, you can't answer a champion into it. So many of the answers were already gone. You opted into banning Sion Ornn, and you were not willing to play Rumble. I think that was a bit of a gambit where Top Esports called the bluff, and getting the Rumble was really big for them.
It was indeed. Top Esports look very dominant here, and that's how I want them to look if they are going to be the ones to go contest BLG, because BLG is just hands diffing everybody they've come into contact with so far. But there's still a complete series ahead of us here. Potentially Weibo finding that comeback here. The reverse sweep needs to start now for some of the most legendary names in the LPL, or they will be knocked down to the lower bracket with only 1 life left. If Kanavi doesn't earn it, I will be upsetty spaghetti. I'm sure we'll be getting that MVP here very shortly, but I just wonder, like, what picks really are the saving grace for Weibo at this point. Like, yes, if some of those big ones that they've been banning away do get let through, I think that's when you can start to question, okay, well, Weibo might find this game, right? But when Kanavi is playing like he is, getting the MVP, obviously, and you're running out of some of those kind of big power picks that auto-win games in a lot of cases,